Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live show. It's Susan Winter here. I see you all ready and waiting. Do me a favor, just do a thumbs up or let me know you can hear the volume because I have a little PTSD for the very first show, never having volume. So my eyes are getting better. I'm almost able to read this. Today's show is about attracting the right kind of partner. For those of you who want a relationship and you want love. Okay, Gwyneth, thank you, my dear. So I know that you all think you know what you want. And I'm sure that you put down in your online profiles, I'm looking for a committed relationship. You think you're doing everything right, but please bear with me. Listen to the entirety of the 4 points that I'm going to cover today, because I think we can tune you up just a little bit. For those of you who might be joining for the first time, welcome. Please come to my channel if you like it, subscribe, give your feedback. If you have questions, put them for me in super chat. I will try and get, I love the hearts. Thank you, whoever is sending the hearts. I will try and get to as many as I can just randomly. I ask that you wait about 10 minutes in super chat so that I can deliver the bulk of what I'm talking about. And then if you have questions about it or another question that's on a different topic, you can let me know. Okay. So attracting the right kind of partner. I have 4 steps that will help you to avoid being locked into a situationship, a dead-end relationship. So I'm going to ask that you bear with me, and I am going to put on the glasses. These are just regular glasses here. So the first thing I want you to do is, you've heard me all talk about filtering, and I'd like you to begin to filter from the very, very beginning. So the thing is that I know you're probably putting online or when you meet somebody that you're looking for a relationship. And you might be thinking that you're asking the right questions, but I want to remind you that on the other end of this, we don't really know if they're telling the truth. You see, most of you will know in the straight world, ladies, bear me out in this, almost every guy online says he's looking for a relationship, right? Because they know that that is the entry point of what most women want. But when you actually get into that, it could be a different story. He's just written it to look a certain way, to present himself in the highest light. So we don't always know that that's the case. And the thing about this, hi ET, how are you in Munich? The thing about all this is that because you are meeting a person online, they're new to you. You do not know them socially. You don't have a baseline for, are they telling you the truth? You see, in order to know from the start if somebody's telling you the truth, you would have to know them. That's why your sister, your brother, your ex, your mother, your father, they know when you're not telling the truth. You've got your own set of tells, right? But they only work when you have a baseline for how a person responds. It's when they break the pattern of their normal response that you know something is up. So remember, everybody comes with their best behavior. And the reason I say this is that so many of you are looking for, Susan, give me, just tell me, give me the one answer so that I'll never be fooled. And I just don't have that for you, because you can't, as a person meeting somebody new, have an absolute read on, are they telling you properly or not? Is their charm masking the fact that they're a player? Maybe. The most charming people normally are practiced, and they're practiced because it serves them well. But could there be a charming person who's just naturally charming? Yeah. So give yourself a break if you've been dating online and somebody looked really good, but then you got fooled because their character didn't match their words. Understand you didn't know them well enough to really be able to tell. You have to implore you have to start to look at your instincts and your vibe and how they respond to things, but you may not know conclusively. Okay, so let me start with that. But when I say filter, I'm talking about filtering for a person who is ready, willing, and able, interested, truly interested in having a loving, committed relationship. And we know that filtering means you're going to discount somebody that's bringing a ton of baggage forward because getting there is going to be impossible. If they are working through a ton of getting over, I had a bad breakup. I mean, the minute somebody says, I had a really bad breakup, I'm just getting over it, you're walking into the middle of a storm. All right. Now, if that person has so much that is valuable about them to you, you may wager testing those waters. But for the most part, if you don't start filtering from the very beginning, you will end up dead end. All this go with the flow, that's what people do when they're collecting data and they don't know what they want. But if you know what you want, you are looking for values that match, a disposition that matches yours. You're looking for all the little things that indicate that this is a fine human being. If you want a life partner, somebody with whom you're going to raise children, you got a whole nother set of things you're looking for. Most people are going off of attraction, just attraction. And we really, really get in trouble with that. And that's one of my 4 points today. So do you understand about filtering from the very beginning, what you have to do when you're assessing this person? You really have to think long-term, what do I want? And don't let their looks, their charm distract you from your goal. If you can afford a detour that ends in a dead end, okay, take it. If time is of the essence, or you're just exhausted, or your self-esteem has been pummeled with dating and having bad relationships, you really can't afford it. Does anybody have any questions on this? Okay. Let's see. Anna from Romania. I did not meet you there when I was in Romania. E.T. I met in Munich. B and Gwyneth, they're all friends now. Let's see who else, anybody else that I might have missed here. Hi, Maddie. You love my shirt. Thank you very much. ADK. Hello. Hello, D33. Thomas is here. So nice to have all of you here. I miss you girls too. Okay, so do you understand about filtering? Yes, have your initial conversations, answer questions that they ask. It doesn't have to be an interview, but if you don't enter the initial time period of getting to know this person and being purposeful and intentional in what you're trying to achieve, the minute you lose sight of your goal romantically and just get lured into wanting them to want you, you've lost the game. Because then we change. Our whole goal changes from wanting the relationship that's right for us, that will give us peace and happiness and security, to wanting their acceptance, to wanting them to want us. And when you get on their game board, you do not get off. You have to make yourself jump off that game board. Okay, so the filtering is number one. No questions about this? Everybody's good on this? Okay, hi, Susan. Hi, how are you doing? Malithi, how are you doing? Okay, so number two, I'm going to go on here. Okay. Oftentimes when we've met somebody we're attracted to and enough things seem right that we get pulled into it, we begin compromising what we were really looking for. And that compromising means that you start to backpedal on some of your boundaries, and you start devaluing what you want. Again, getting caught in the loop of how do I impress them? How can I be what they want? And the minute that you do this, you're lowering your standards. If you see that there is a behavior, a dispositional trait, I promise you that stuff is hardwired. It is baked in. You know, you have these narcissists, they're not going to change. You cannot change them. Your love will not fix them. Trust me. Okay. You might be able to support your partner and lift them up so that you can encourage them to do their job, their goal, their startup, whatever. You can't do the work for them. And the more you start to contort yourself to lower your expectations just to have somebody, here's what happens. Every time you lower your standards of who you are choosing, you get less. And then when you get less, your mind says, Well, I guess it's not possible to get more. I mean, I tried to get more and I couldn't get more. So I'm going to ask for less. And you ask for less from the next person. Well, certainly if they can at least call twice a week and show up, right? Then you get less from them. And you keep asking for less and less. And each time you ask for less, you get less until you come to the point that your self-esteem is so rock bottom that you are totally convinced that what you originally wanted is absolutely impossible and you are lucky for any crumb they will give you. I tried this. So I'm speaking from experience. I dated players for 6 years to try and tell you what the game is all about because I had no idea. I did it consciously and intentionally. Half the time observing myself thinking, okay, are you masochistic or are you brilliant? Because something is really, this is a really hard path, especially for somebody like me who's a relationship and commitment and one-on-one person. Really hard for me. But what I learned is every time I asked for less, I got less. And then it occurred to me when I was at the very bottom, not okay, because this test group, that's what they were, right? But it occurred to me how that erosion happens. And it's insidious. I mean, you almost don't feel it because you just keep going down until you're at the bottom. And then you suddenly realize, oh my God, I have to struggle to ask for more, believe in more, want more, crave more until it comes into your life. And if you have to do a really serious spring cleaning and get rid of all those numbers in your phone, get rid of those hookups that kind of made you feel like you were loved, get rid of the people that come around once in a while, they dump you, and then they come back again. And you're thinking, oh, well, maybe they realize how wonderful I am. No, they don't. They just, they have you on rotation. They played around with some other people. They got tired of them or things didn't work out. And they're like, oh, this is an easy hit. I got away with this before. So when you ask for less and you lower your standards, they give you less. Then you teach them that they have no effort involved whatsoever to maintain you. You are literally teaching them, I expect nothing from you. Any crumb you give me, I'm grateful. I will be here for you on demand. You don't have to work at this. And they do not appreciate you. They ignore you, they discard you, they call last minute, and then you wonder why you feel rotten. So we do it to ourselves. And so many of you are nice, loving, warm, agreeable people that keep making excuses for these people. Well, they had a bad day. They weren't raised very well. You know, I understand they're really under a lot of pressure. It's just really hard for them to compartmentalize their emotions because they're so busy at work. It's your love life. You have to get tough on this point. Does this resonate with anybody? Okay, this was number 2. I'm just going to see if there's anything I need to read here. I was extremely physically attracted. Okay, you were lost there, right? To an ex 2.5 years ago, and he didn't respect my boundaries. But for the sake of keeping him around, I did things that went against my core values and beliefs. Bubblegum, thank you for this share. I am certain that almost everybody has been there at some point in their dating evolution. These are not things to be ashamed of at all. I'm very honest with all of you, the mistakes I've made, because I didn't know they were mistakes at the time. I was just muddling through trying to do, we didn't have this kind of information. You know, I was off road. I didn't follow the script. So I'm out there in the middle. And that's the way you learn. Now, there's a time when you can afford to learn. And then there's another time where you're like, you know what? I'm just looking for the Autobahn here. I do not want to go off-road again. I'm beat up. I'm cut up. This isn't even worth it. Smooth, right? Wonderful. Going someplace. So thank you for this. Let's see. This is absolutely true, Susan. Yes. Wow, Susan, that's my experience. E.T. Didn't know that, honey. Okay. My confidence was down to 0. Took therapy to pull myself out. I was never aware this is a downward spiral, but it makes so much sense now. So your videos have really helped me. Thanks, Martin. Thank you so much. And Penny, hi, how are you? So do you see how you could have adopted low self-esteem, yet you do not inherently have low self-esteem? This whole attachment business that everybody talks about, Don't you think it's interesting that it's so prevalent now? Oh, they're dismissive, avoidant. No, they just don't like you. They're not interested and they don't think they have to make effort. You're not an insecure attacher. Three-quarters of you don't have these labels. You put them on yourself. If the book helped you, great. I know some people it helps them. I think it's just a beautiful way to describe the modern dating scene tomorrow. You're not insecure attaching. People aren't connecting with you. You're doing the most intimate act in the world, and you're supposed to feel comfortable on a tightrope between like the Empire State Building and the GWB with no net. You're supposed to be comfortable and confident doing that. That's impossible. How could you ask yourself to feel confident given the wobbly fact that there's no footing underneath you? So give yourself a break. You're not inherently of low self-esteem. You have been dating people that make you doubt yourself, doubt your dreams, doubt your goals, and they teach you to feel badly about yourself by rewarding you with a little crumb. So you think, oh, I did it right. Boom, boom, boom. I hit this time I played it this way and I got a treat. Okay. You're probably all so much healthier than you understand. And I really want you to get that. When you play with sick people, when you play with people that don't have a skill set, you start to think there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with the people you're interacting with. Okay. So this is 125. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Temporary. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Why do I feel I repel people rather than attract? I can say I'm conventionally attractive, super caring and loving, yet no one is committing. You are listening to the right formula today. I want you to re-listen to this in the replay. Please, first of all, thank you for your very generous gift. I want you to listen carefully, and I want you to really ask yourself each of these four things that I covered today, am I really, really, really doing them? I don't think you repel people, but again, I don't know what you are saying, what you are doing. I don't know how you're carrying yourself. I don't know your communication skills. I'm not personally working with you. For those of you that have these things about yourself, I urge you, please just get a consultation. Go to susanwinter.net so I can get my hands on you. One session. I don't sign you up forever. I want to be one and done, fix you, back out dating. Okay. You're welcome to come back, certainly, if you want to. But I want, please at least give me a chance to work with you because I don't know what you're doing. So you might not be doing anything. You might be choosing the wrong people. Maybe you could be a better communication person. Maybe you're not expressing yourself well. Maybe you're shy. Maybe you're anxious. I don't know. Maybe you're overly confident and they are insecure. I don't know. I would love to help you from this, but honestly, I am guessing. Okay, so please consider it. And I thank you so much. So listen, okay, so listen to the rest of this. You may find where you are. So you do, okay, let's go back to this, lowering your standards. When you lower your standards, all you're going to get is confirmation that you are no good because you are pulling in the wrong people. So this whole show is how to attract the right kind of partner who will commit. A person who will commit to you is somebody who likes who you are. They like where you're going. They like being with you. You have agreeable personalities. You have similar life goals. You have similar romantic goals. They're honest, they're communicative, and they start to realize that being with you makes them happy and they want to be with you more. And then commitment comes out of that. Okay. Additionally, you probably ask them, are you looking for a committed relationship? Are you looking for, do you do monogamy? I hate the fact that we even have to ask this, but now we have to go back to the drawing board on everything. And that's a whole nother discussion about agreeing to a love model that maybe you don't want just to have a partner. I've seen a lot of people do that. Okay, so I'm going to go on here. I feel like I'm just attracting losers. It's exhausting, Penny. Okay, you're not done listening to this program. You're going to go back, just like I told Temp Ori. You're going to go back and you're going to listen to it again. You're going to check each one of these points. Okay, so far we have spoken about filtering from the very beginning, the type of disposition in person, and starting with a high caliber. If they don't have those qualities, you don't even entertain them. Just go next, next, next. Okay. And online, we understand you don't know much about them, if anything, and you're not going to lower your standards. Okay. Number three, let's talk about the type of person you are attracting, you are choosing. Okay. Reciprocity versus transaction. Now, 90% of you, without meaning to, are attracted to people that you are attracted to, and you are attracting those people. And it's visual and it's chemistry. And I'm not saying that you can't have a good looking partner, but the looks aspect is ranking so much higher than any of the internal qualities. All right. And that's where you're all going to get lost. The reason for it is this: we understand that looks and beauty are a very strong pull. Ladies, you know that men are visual. You know that. And what happens is that women are just as visual as men. We would, and as human beings, please don't make yourself shallow or small, because that is your default. We all do that. Little babies go to the pretty faces. You choose the pretty puppies. I mean, it's just, we love visual and aesthetic beauty as animals. We love that. So, understanding that that's your natural default, you are going to have some backup conversations in your mind to remind you that you are looking for a partner who is commitment oriented, wants to be with you, who wants what you want and wants it with you. Do you understand? Because you will 9 times out of 10 be swayed by the beauty or the looks or the chemistry or whatever, the sexual attraction, and you're going to blow through every single goal that you had. You're going to ignore everything you said you wanted because suddenly you're in heat and you want them. I'm telling you, you know it. Don't blame yourself for it, but please catch it. Again, to be clear, I am not saying you have to date pug ugly people in order to have a good relationship. But if you let your eyes and your other parts guide you and you throw the rest of it out, you are going to end up in a very negative situation, trying to jam qualities you're looking for into this person. Okay? I've had a slew of male clients signing up for extended sessions, meaning I'll sell them an entire package, everything from the makeover of their clothes, everything to how they walk, how they talk, how they dress, where they go, how they meet people, going over every aspect of it. And I cannot tell you how many times, and this is not against men, I absolutely love men, but I have so many male clients who just throw money at women to impress them, just because she's beautiful, and they go blind to the fact that she doesn't return their text messages, she's not reciprocal, she doesn't communicate with them at all, she's just pretty. And they'll fly her all over the world, and they'll go to her and buy things, and I'm texting in caps, no shopping trips, close the account on the hotel room. What is wrong with you? I mean, I end up, it's just, you tell me you want love, you want a wife material, wife and mother material. This girl is not that. She's a manipulator. She's on sites to get free trips to Dubai, to get free trips all over the world, to fly private. This is not the mother of your children. And the blindness is because, oh, it's beauty, they want me. And you know, ladies, we don't really fool ourselves. Like, guys have an ability, some guys, to believe the stripper really wants them, right? We're like, you looking for a green card, a mommy? What you looking for here? So, we're a little bit more sly about that. But I promise you, if you find yourself attracted to and pulling in the wrong kind of person, if you're not filtering, then you will keep having these experiences of being used, being let down, because you're not looking for a transactional relationship. If you say that you want love and commitment, commitment is based upon responsibility, accountability, somebody being there for you. Now, you all know I have a history of dating much younger men. And I have a little thing that I've taught my mind to think. When I see a young guy chatting me up and he's trying to, like hit on me or whatever, and I'm talking to him and he's cute. Oh, and he's bright, bright and cute together, and a personality. The first thing I think is, this kid gonna pick me up from a colonoscopy procedure? Huh? You gonna be waiting for me? You gonna be my medical call when I'm having some medical procedure done, given my history of having so much that is going on physically in my life? Or you just want the fun times? So I ask myself rational questions like this. This kid gonna show up at the hospital? Hmm? On a Saturday night? No, don't think so. Not up for that. The one who does, now that's something else. Okay? So I've had to train myself to not go in my default, because what maybe worked in your 20s or 30s or even your 40s, maybe you don't want it now. So you want to be checking out what you are attracted to. Are you attracted to people that want a transactional relationship? Because that's not real. Okay, so that was my number 3. Let me now look at these. I know Thomas has been writing me. Let's see. Okay. New HS proposal is going through here in my country, then officially from not attachment style anymore here, but attachment disorder officially. I know some people really believe in this, and I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that so many people who self-label from watching videos have not understood that they are chronically making themselves feel insecure, where they become anxious to attach, separate from their childhood history, okay? Just people that were kind of well adjusted that are riding this current of being devalued, which makes anybody anxious. I'm an anxious attacher. No, they're treating you poorly. You're anxious because you don't know what's going on. So please, 2 things can be true at the same time. I do understand that, and thank you for this. Um, Ira Jessica finally caught her idol. Last year, I was here struggling with a breakup, alternating therapy and Susan. Now I have a crush at 37. He, focusing on me. Things got better in my life. Excellent to hear. Okay, let's see what else. Jyoti, at my age, 34, men just don't want to commit due to plethora of options available on dating apps. You're only 34, sweetie. I'm big on physical attraction. It's always the men I'm not attracted to, up and ready to commit. I I I think you've really discounted yourself because of the age. And I think maybe perhaps I'm looking at your name and your culture. They've told you that you're over the hill and that nobody wants you. I know my South Asian and Southeast Asian people, and I'm not saying maybe that's not your case. They're really they're inculcated with the idea that if you're 28 and you're single and you're not married, you're like, there's nothing left. So I I do think when we hit a wall of not finding appropriate partners, you have heard me say before that we need to expand our reach. I know you hate online, but you have to get past whatever your social group is. And if you don't have a social group and you've only been looking online and you're really disillusioned with that, you need to create a social life. Most people would rather meet somebody in person, yet most people meet online. That's just the way it is nowadays. So that is a technique that needs to be studied in and of itself to avoid scams, bots, and pitfalls. But you need to expand the people. And this is kind of black and white thinking, and I don't doubt that that is your experience. But if you lock into black and white thinking, you're just going to see what you already believe you're seeing. There are attractive people who want a relationship. there are attractive people who you will be attracted to, who are keen to have the stability and comfort of somebody that they trust that adds value to their lives. Okay, so if you have a question for me, put it in super chat. I know that many of you are talking to me now. You're all talking to each other. CC says, I'm struggling with this in my relationship. I'm in great shape, and my boyfriend's overweight, and he's having difficulty staying on track with fitness. I find myself, that's another thing in a relationship. Sometimes people, now guys, listen to me. I love you, and I'm just telling you how it is. You know this, men are goal oriented. Oftentimes, not just men, but women, once they've achieved the goal of capturing the person that they're so attracted to, they kind of go into, well, I've done the job, so now I just get to enjoy it. So it's game over. This is why it's so important that we teach couples in long-standing relationships to keep dating each other, to keep attractive, to keep trying. And I think your partner, for whatever reason, maybe they're overworking, maybe they're so stressed out with a new business that they haven't made fitness a goal. And if you keep telling them that you need that and you want that for the attraction, they should be able to be willing to work with you. It's tricky, you know. I'm talking to several men that I know that I like very much that have been in long-term relationships, not clients. And, I'm saying to them, those bags under your eyes, you could get those fixed. That's an easy, they just pop out the fat. That's not an eye job per se. And, your wife wants you to do that. And I said, you've been married 30 years. Give her something nice to look at. What's wrong with that? You're going to look refreshed. Men sometimes have a problem with this. So, okay, so everybody, let's go on. I'm going to answer your questions. Jyoti, you're absolutely right. Susan, thank you. I appreciate your insight. It's always spot on. Okay, number 4. Richard, I'll answer you before I go on to number 4. Gotta wait for the conclusion of number 4. Richard, thank you so much. $20. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you. Hi, Susan. Sorry, I'm late. Well, I'm just going to stop the show. Oh my God. Who's free at 2 p.m? Honestly, unless you're in prison, who's free? I'm amazed that people show up in the middle of the day. Those of you that are self-employed, you're probably working. Those of you that, it's a weird time. I just don't like working at night, So let's see. Recently, I'm attracting through apps rebound ladies, married women who are in a divorce, or single women fresh out of a long-term relationship. I briefly dated a few of them, but want to avoid these ladies. Okay, so at the top of the show, we were talking about filtering. So obviously, this has become a point now where you have amassed enough information that you are seeing a pattern. And the pattern is, these gals are not done yet. Hang on just a minute. That they're still not through that process. That whatever they need to do for themselves, they haven't fully processed the ending of their relationship. And so for that reason, they wouldn't be a candidate to enter healthily with you. And if you know that that's something that you want to avoid, you may want to only look at women that, or even add something to your profile that says, I'm interested in somebody who is ready, willing, and able to have a long-term committed relationship. Sorry, everyone. I'm late too, Terry. It's okay. I love Thomas is giving people advice. I love this. Thank you so much. Okay, Jonathan Astley's in the house. My buddy, Jonathan, how are you doing? So nice to have you here. We talk all the time, unbeknownst to all of you, back and forth about the business, about the nonsense of the business, about things that people are doing in the business that we don't like. Well, that's mostly me. And then Jonathan talking about psychology and things like that. Such a nice man, such a good man. So if you are a woman who's mature and you're looking to meet somebody special and you're having problems, please check out Jonathan's channel because he's all about that. I do everybody. So, straight, gay, men, women, trans, everything, everything, everything. Jonathan is very specialized and very, very good. So, welcome, Jonathan. Okay, well said. Thank you. You're great. Love you too, honey. Okay, so everybody's talking here. Try being a female in their mid 40s in the pool, very small and jaded. You need Jonathan. Okay, magic. Okay, red flag is if they don't have a psychologist. Okay, that for you is a filter. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you look at what you're not getting, that's a clear indicator of what you do want. If you've met people that are carrying around their baggage, that have not done self examination, haven't even bothered with self examination, know their issues and haven't bothered to fix them, or at least attempt to fix them, then for you, this is a no go. So you would need somebody self actualized, doing the work, somebody who's passionate about digging around. Okay. I was late on that one, but I had nicer conversations with ones who do, even if we don't spark. Seeing one is a game changer for me. Okay. So this is wonderful. Oh, by the way, for red flags and stuff like that, I urge all of you to take a look at the dating games guide. It's in the links below. So that is a quick push a button or say it, and it goes right into an AI thing from long time ago. It's a free app that you can put on your phone. It's all my library of everything on dating games and red flags, because there can be a time when you're in the moment. And if you've ever tried to dig through YouTube, between all the distractions and the commercials and everything else, you can't find what you want to get. It goes right to it. It works in a number of different languages. If you have a request, you need to tell them. So I think it's on sale. It's only $49 and it's great material. And so I'm going to pitch that, the dating games guide. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Tom says, I hear you. Okay, you're all talking to each other. I love this. This is a safe place. Now we are on to number 4. Okay. And this is, I urge you all, while you're looking for all of this in somebody else, the best way to get it is to be the person you want to attract. It's so comical. I remember, I don't know if any of you are old enough, in New York City, all during the early 2000s and the 90s, they had these learning annex things. And I had a radio show and I had a TV show on higher spirituality. It was called Higher Ground. And I went to all of these where you paid $25 and you listened to somebody famous talk, right? And so I went and I heard Carolyn Mays and I got her on the TV show. But I remember going to these shows and I don't even know why I'm saying this. Oh my God, this is the thing about being a female. You start down one of these roads and you don't know why you went there. But so at any rate, I'm always trying to work on myself. And I remember so many times when you get a situation like this, you have to become the person that you want to attract. Oh, I know. Because the gals in these courses, here's where I was going. Oh God, that's what female talk. That's female mind. I hate it. I remember this girl in class who's going, I want a man who's 6'5". He's got a trust fund. He's got this, he's got that. She's saying all these things. You look at her, she is unemployed, grossly out of shape. One of the highest body fat counts I've ever seen in my life. Unkempt. The demands were delusional. That guy is never going to look at you. Ever, ever, ever. So the quickest way to attract what you want is to be the closest version to that you are, so that the two of you can recognize each other. You want an ethical man? Be ethical. You want a sporty man? Be sporty. It is true that opposites attract. I understand that. But you want to have enough in common to make the initial connection. So many of I fear that what's happening is that you're not presenting yourself in a way that they can see that you're relationship material. I'm worried about that because oftentimes I think there's a social stigma that ladies have to present themselves a certain way, or they have to be cool and they have to let their boundaries go and show that they're modern and they tolerate everything, or that guys have to excessively give and like showcase all of their money in order to find a woman who's attracted. And I just worry that you're not being yourself and you're not being real from day one. And now I'm seeing all these things flood in. So I want to get back to this. I'm going to try to finish some of this and I'm going to go to all these. So, you know, if you want a relationship, you've got to understand that most people will do the path of least resistance. They won't want to work at it. You must be so much of what you are looking for. Do you understand? So if you want somebody who's self-aware, you've got to be self-aware yourself. And don't worry about being at the apex of the mountain. You don't want to be at the bottom. You can't. Stay there. You will find your group. I promise you, you will find your group. But when you go on your dates and when you have your initial conversations, don't default to some social norm that you think is supposed to be cool or whatever. Hold to your values and be yourself and present to be the role you want to take on. Do you want to be a wife? Do you want to be a mother? Do you want to be a partner? Then in all things, because for example, there's a disconnect. And I'm so sorry. I know you're all waiting. I'm going to get back to these and I'm going to get back to all of your questions here and your lovely super chat contributions. I had a dear friend who would drink in order to meet men. And she pregame at her apartment, then go down Ninth Avenue and hit all the bars, get loaded enough that she could make out with a guy and take him back. She was very open sexually. I have nothing against that, but it was working against what she wanted, which was to wake up next to the same man every day of her life. And this was her behavior. And she had enough guys coming in the gate that she didn't really notice the fall off. But it was just a revolving door because she wasn't in action in accordance with what she wanted. She had adopted this kind of like, I'm cool and I'm not a clingy girl and I'm good. So you don't have to worry about me. And I'm like, but that's not what you want. And so it was a tricky conversation because I didn't know her that well. But when she started to get with the understanding that you have to represent what you want so they can see it, then she got the engagement. Then she got the guy. So just go over that if you don't mind to make sure that you are completely in accordance with what you say you want. Okay. Now I'm going to find all, I appreciate all of your super chats. I'm just going to try and find this. Richard, thank you very much. Okay. Joe. Hi, Joe. $5. Thank you very much. My ex broke up with me. He doesn't want me back due to disdain. Okay. I remember we were talking about this last week. He gave me clear and reasonable feedback, but I didn't apply it. Fell out of love over time. I'm not sure if that's you or him. And thank you for a second $5. He's dating a guy. I want him back. We talked about this last week, right? Trying to move on, not think of him. He's a friend. Well, I don't know. Hope he gets boyfriend, do cuddle and sex in his place because he's what? Wait a minute. Hang on. I have to make sure I understand this correctly. Okay, wait. He's dating a guy. I want him back, trying to move on. Okay. Not think of him. Okay, good idea. Be a friend. Okay. Hope he gets a boyfriend. Do cuddle and sex in his place because he's lonely. I don't know what to do. Don't do cuddle and sex. I'm sorry. If I'm understanding this correctly, you're cuddling, doing sex, or wanting to do sex to help him get through loneliness of not having a boyfriend, but you were the boyfriend and now you're not. You can't afford that. That's danger. That's temptation. That's just putting salt in the wound. I hope I'm understanding this correctly, Joe. I remember talking about this last week. I think you all are going to therapy, or he was going to therapy, but I know you wanted to try. You didn't try. You didn't pay attention. So I'm really curious. So you're somebody I'd love to have in a consultation. If you knew that he was dissatisfied, and at the time, you didn't care enough to listen, but now you care because he's gone, I have to ask you where that's coming from. Really, honestly, because they're so much more valuable when they've left us. I see people dating people and they kind of whatever cruise through. Suddenly the person leaves. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe they left. So sometimes we have to ask ourselves hard questions. Again, I'm shooting in the dark. This might not apply to you, but what I can tell you is that if you are trying to move on, and all of you, if you're trying to move on in a relationship from somebody who doesn't want you, won't listen to the fact that now you're trying to make a correction, is not having anything to do with you, and you want them, please understand you cannot afford to have contact in any way with them. You have to quit them like a drug because you're not over wanting them. Being friends is something that maybe you will want in time when you lose all sexual attraction, when there is no dream left in your mind of being together. Then you can afford to be a friend. But for most of you, this is tricky and impossible territory that's going to simply kick up your low self-esteem and your chaos and your drama, and it's going to be very harmful to you in the long run. So that's what I suggest from reading this. And again, I'm not getting the whole picture. Celestial Armor, thank you so much. Okay, Thomas is talking to people. Let's see. Oh, thank you for this. Thank you. Okay, Terry. I know there was another, maybe it was just Joe. I think there was another one that I got. Okay, I wonder if there's any more super chats. Sometimes I miss them. So do you understand where I'm coming from? Thomas, you handle Joe because you can talk back and forth. I'm going to go on to this. So you all understand how oftentimes you'll have a partner that you're, okay. Now you got me all going again. Brian, $20. You are amazing. Brian, thank you, my dear. Thank you. People will test you. I hate to say it. I never wanted to believe it. I'm not one of those people, but I grew up in Minnesota. We're all a little slow that way. At least in my time period, in my world, I did not know game. I didn't know there was a game. I remember Wesley Balk, the director of the Minnesota Opera Company, turning to me and saying, Susan, everybody's got an agenda. And I understood the words, but I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And then I come to New York, and this other man looks at me and he said, Susan, you have every card in the deck, and you don't even know what the game is. And I kind of understood what that meant, but I didn't get it. Now I get it, okay? Late, but I'm here. So understand that you could have a mind as pure as driven snow. But my job is to pollute you for your own safety and survival. My job is to, and I hate doing it, but I have to tell you what people are going to do so that you are not shocked, harmed, impaled, trampled upon, or have your self-esteem dragged around town. Okay? There are people who will consciously or unconsciously do as little as possible to maintain you because they've found from your body language, from what you say, what you do, from your lack of boundaries, from point number 2 that I said to keep your standards high, they found they really don't have to do much. So they're learning where they are with you. And you may think we don't do this, but we all do it. And my example of this is there are certain people that I know I cannot be 2 minutes late for. Cannot be 2 minutes late because they're just that kind of person you can't. There are other people that, I'm running across town. I'm like, oh my God, I can't get you in time. I had to walk the dog, blah, blah, blah. So, we all suss out consciously or unconsciously who we have to be with you. That's why a lot of the attracting the right partner does indeed involve filtering for a person who actually wants what you want, doing that due diligence. 2, also keeping your standards high, because if you lower them, you will not get a quality relationship and your self-esteem will rock bottom. 3, to understand What are you attracted to? What are you pulling in? Are you doing all this, right? You got to have those little lines. You don't necessarily have to say the one who's going to pick me up from a colonoscopy, but you need to have something that'll remind you to say, are they going to be there when I'm sick? Are they going to be there when I need help? Okay. Because that's a relationship. That's what you're looking for. Okay. Thomas. Oh my goodness. 4,000. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Susan, I am curious. I, if you also went through a struggle when you got more and more enlightened, red flags were flying everywhere in almost all people. How did you handle it? I'm rotating faster than a blender. Oh my God, this is a long conversation. It's a little spiritual. So I talk about this a little bit in Allowing Magnificence, and it's called The Last Card in the Deck. And I try and do it in 2 pages, but I came to a point where all the information the world had it didn't work. Everything I heard, every philosophy, every whatever, nothing worked. And I was stumped by the information I was getting, and I was stumped by what I was realizing, because I was spinning pretty quickly too, and seeing behind the curtain and the veils and the many multitudes and layers of reality here. There's the physical reality we think is happening. There's what's happening underneath. There's the multitude of things that could occur as an outcome, the many different outcomes that could play out, how the universe is here to guide us and direct us and not torture us, but move us. And it's just layer upon layer upon layer. And then the psychology of people. I mean, it was on overload. So for me, I got a little weird for about 2 years. I pulled very much inward. I got way too deep for most people didn't want a conversation with me. And I was kind of in an elevated state where I didn't know who would understand, because I felt so connected. And I wished I wasn't in some ways so I could be with the rest of them here. And yet at the same time, I couldn't stop. I was something was carrying me. I don't know if this exactly applies to you. You were very conscious of psychology. I was very conscious of the directives of the world, the directives that we tell each other on a social level, but also the higher directives that were possible in any moment. So I was aware of other realities and other possibilities. So that's where I went. But there is a time in great growth where there is a void. I call it the void. There's a separation from the pack because you are evolving in whatever direction you are evolving in so quickly that no one can keep pace with you. And the revelations of what you're understanding come so rapidly that you can barely make sense of them. And it feels very disorienting. And then it calms. And then it gels. And then it solidifies. And then when you speak, it's coming from an entirely different place. Because when you speak, it's not just the words that you know sound right, that people say that you could have said at 20 because you know it's the right answer, but it's the words that you've lived because you know. You went left, you went right, you went every aspect of that. I hope that I kind of went off here. So I hope that this is describing, at the end of that, there's absolute solidity internally and internal directives. I hope you understand. Give me a comment, because and the rest of you, I hope you could hang in there with me. It's not. This is the stuff I love. I love when I get a question and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to answer that? Okay, so here we go. Brian did something here. Brian, is that you are amazing. Okay, let me see. Thomas, I hope this is it. Same here. I see a red flag within 10 seconds. Patricia, good for you. Avoid it. This is fabulous. Okay, you're all talking to each other. This I love. Okay, I'm struggling here, getting way too deep, currently in isolation again. Okay, so back to basics. You're all looking for love, attraction, and you're looking to attract the right person. Okay. April Skies, $10. I started dating someone new recently, and he seems kind and respectful, but he lied to me about his age. Okay. The real age is only 1 year different. Now I don't know if I should keep dating him. Okay. I would say yes. I don't know why he lied by 1 year. This is not what I would consider a gross problem. What I'm liking here so far is kind and respectful. And I like the fact that when you asked, somehow you found out. I don't know if he volunteered it or you asked. But so let's say you asked and he answered honestly. That's wonderful. That's your first fight, disagreement, and you got through it. Now, I'd like to know why he did it. Did he do it to impress you? Is he younger and he wanted to be older to get you? Do you know how many women lie on their online profile? Oh my God, right? They lie because they are certain that no matter how good they look, that if a man sees that number next to them, they're not going to want them because it's kind of the truth. So I would give the guy a chance, but I'd want to know the why because that's an important tell about who he is. All right. He says it was a miscommunication. I don't think he miscommunicated by one word. I get you, Susan. This is Yaffa. Hi, Yaffa. How are you doing, sweetie pie? But he lied. Okay, you're getting really hung up on a lie by one word. I would give further investigation. And then if you see he does it again, then you got a problem. And it's got to be over something significant. He lied over 1 year of his age. I mean, I don't find that offensive. Okay? Obviously, you do. I know a guy, I had a client, she was dating a younger man. She lied by 3 or 4 years on her age. They got along so well. And it came out like several months later, he broke it off with her because he was adamant that he lied. So maybe this is a thing for you. For me, it's not a thing. For you, it might be a thing. This is a question of your judgment. Okay? Okay, we're going over pretty soon. I get it. If they said 59 and they were actually 60, it's psychological. A lie for me is a lie, though. Okay, so you know what? We met on a plane. He's a celebrity, lives on the West Coast, me in Europe. He's kind, intelligent. We talk about life, spirituality, deep chats. He initiates Skype. Does long distance work? It can if you want to. If both people are truly motivated, it can. He's a celebrity. He's got you've got probably got some competition there, but you need to really, this is a perfect video for you. Go back and watch everything I said. What does he want? Find the heartbeat of this man. Most people want a celebrity just because it makes them look good. The one ace you would have is probably nobody wants to look at him truly. And that would be you're in. That's what I would do. Okay. Everyone lies about their age. Okay. So let's see. Have I done everything here? This is okay. I started dating someone. I think I've done all the super chats, everybody. I think I have. Okay. So let's see. What did I do here? Okay. I don't. Okay. So you know what, everyone? I think I'm going to leave now. I would like to have Bea and Gwyneth have their dinner. I want to remind all of you that different countries are going through different time changes. All right. I think the UK went through one. I'm not sure. November 7th, which is 2 shows from now, the US goes through a time change. So just check with your local time. I'm going to say 2 o'clock Eastern, but different countries are going to change. I'm going to see you here next week. I want to remind you, if you're interested, go to susanwinter.net. Look at the different products and services I have. I want to thank you all for being here today. Thank you for your wonderful contributions. Richard, you came late. Thank you so much. E.T., great to hear from you. Yafa, nice to see you here. I just want to thank all of you. I couldn't do it without you. And I'm always looking forward to what you would like to talk about. So we will see you next week. Thank you, Bea and Gwyneth, for making this a safe and wonderful place. And I love, love, love all of you. See you next week. Happy dating. And now you know how to find a quality partner. Those are the 4 steps. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye now.